There's a lot of diversity in the ways we choose to spend our time, but all of us at REI have some very important things in common. A love of the outdoors is primary among them. Part of that love means responsibility. And teamwork, building a community, is part of why we choose to work at REI. All of us make contributions. We're the ones who set the examples by leaving a campsite cleaner than when we arrived, or giving classes on things that matter to us. Keeping the ski trails in shape for the skiers behind us, picking up that aluminum can off the beach. We're committed to making the world a better place. It's part of our personal responsibility. Shrinkage is a term for missing merchandise, and although it's a topic that none of us really want to talk about, ignoring it won't make it go away. Nor can we think that shrinkage doesn't concern or affect us. Unfortunately, we are all involved, whether we want to be or are aware of it or not. We have to recognize and deal with it in an honest, straightforward way. Although REI's loss is somewhat less than the industry average, the amount we lose each year is the equivalent of losing an entire store's inventory. First of all, let's look at the three sources of shrinkage. According to retail industry data, shoplifting makes up about 65% of the total loss. Procedural errors, which just means making mistakes, account for roughly 10%, and employee theft at approximately 25%. Because we're a co-op, lost merchandise means lost revenue for all of us, employees and members alike. Money that would otherwise go towards salaries, benefits, hours, our customers' dividends, and REI's national and regional environmental contributions. Shrinkage also affects us in a less tangible way. It changes the kind of place we work and shop in. Like littering, even one person's thoughtlessness can ruin it for the rest of us. The good news is, you can help. In this program, you'll learn some new and better ways to deal with shrinkage issues. If we are going to try and make the world, or on a smaller scale, our workplace, a better place, we have to make shrinkage our personal responsibility.
Some people just don't respect anything that doesn't belong to them.
Most of us probably feel lucky that we haven't spotted or had to deal with a shoplifter. The truth is, almost all of us have seen shoplifters, but without knowing it. The problem is that we were raised to think that bad guys looked bad or different from the rest of us. Unfortunately, in reality, shoplifters look more like our customers and are just as diverse. They are young, old, male, female. They come from all walks of life. The only way that we can learn to identify shoplifters is by their behavior. Although they may look and dress like our customers, they don't act like them, not if you stop to notice. The first difference is that where a customer looks closely at the product they're considering, a shoplifter spends more time looking around to make sure that no one is watching. Luckily, you will be. Secondly, a true customer usually welcomes service and wants your knowledge about merchandise or a particular activity, while a shoplifter avoids it. They'd really prefer to be invisible. Finally, real customers feel comfortable shopping throughout the store, whereas shoplifters seek privacy, especially in less traveled areas of the store. So how do you deal with someone who fits these descriptions, or someone you've seen conceal an item? There are two main approaches, apprehension and prevention. Offhand, an emphasis on apprehending the suspect probably sounds right. It's been the common method used for years, but still there are some considerable drawbacks. One, there is always some element of danger. Secondly, there can be legal ramifications. Because of this, apprehension should only be done by trained store security and managers. On the other hand, prevention means that we all work together and actively to deter shoplifting from occurring in the first place. Think about it in terms of forestry management. What makes more sense? Focusing our attention, time, and resources learning how to put out raging forest fires? Or prevent them? Although we certainly need to know how to handle fires, should they occur, making sure they don't start is crucial. This is really the cornerstone of REI's plan, for a lot of reasons. Most importantly, it's safer for you, and there are no accusations. Therefore, it avoids the possibility of legal problems. Our active role in preventing shoplifting provides for better customer service with greater involvement and awareness of our customers' needs. Active is the key concept in the prevention method, but getting involved isn't anything new to our staff. Let's look at the techniques we use to prevent shoplifting. We'll see how just by doing our jobs well, we are already part of the solution. Prevention starts with good customer service. Because we know that our real customers want it, and shoplifters don't. By giving the best service we can learn from their responses. Good service begins with greeting customers promptly.
Those are great jackets, aren't they?
Well, I'm trying to decide which one of these is going to keep me drier.
It's clear this customer is genuinely interested in the product. While some customers may not require our assistance, they are usually serious in their efforts and certainly won't mind your offering to help.
Hi.
Hi.
Those packs have a great suspension system. Would you like to try it on?
No, thanks. I'm just looking.
Okay. Well, I'll be right over here if you need anything.
Not every customer who turns down service is suspect. They are often just curious about a product they don't want to buy. Mentioning our products by name is always part of good customer service. It not only serves as a conversation starter, but also helps establish our own expertise and experience with the equipment we use and sell. Shoplifters, however, don't want more product information. They may appear disinterested and avoid eye contact. Shoplifters want to be left alone.
Hi. I can really recommend those mag lights. I just got one myself.
I'm just looking.
Okay, well, if you have any questions, be sure to ask me.
Yeah.
There is something a little odd in his sudden disinterest. Similarly, effectively servicing our dressing rooms, knowing what customers are in what rooms and with how many of which items, naturally serves to deter shoplifting. So far, we've seen how just doing our jobs, being involved and aware of our customers can be a part of active shoplifting prevention. There are other ways to deal with the problem that may be new. First of all, what do you do when you really do suspect someone? Maybe it's someone who declined help when they were looking at bike shorts, and there's something in their body language that seems suspicious, furtive. Now, as you walk by the rack, you notice the shorts they were holding are gone, and yet the same person now leaving the dressing room isn't holding anything. If you have seen, or think you've seen, someone conceal an item, then is it too late to use prevention to stop someone from stealing it? Surprisingly, the answer is no. This is where our actions become the most critical in preventing the shoplifting from occurring. We'll watch that again and hear what is really going on.
Hi, Tom. I'm afraid we've got somebody.
Hi. If you're into long-distance bike touring, those shorts are really comfortable. Did you have any questions? Would you like to try some of those on?
No, I'm just looking.
If you need anything, just give me a yell. That's odd. We have jerseys that go with those shorts. Would you like to try those on as well?
What? Oh, no thanks.
Hi, Tom. I'm afraid we've got somebody trying to shoplift something here in bikes.
Let's take a look again at why and how this kind of active prevention works.
Okay.
Needless to say, we don't suspect all of our customers. So by sharing our experience and knowledge, we are also offering our helpfulness and service.
Hi. If you're into long-distance bike touring, those shorts are really comfortable. Did you have any questions? Would you like to try some of those on?
So far, this person hasn't done anything to make us feel suspicious or uneasy by declining our service. But remember what we said about a shoplifter's behavior. Does he seem genuinely interested in the product? Uncomfortable or nervous? If you do become suspicious, keep an eye on both the customer and the product they were interested in. Make a mental note of his or her appearance. To help you assume your own authority, make eye contact as you approach. You are letting him know you are in control.
We have jerseys that go with those shorts. Would you like to try those on as well?
What?
The important word to remember here is simply that or those. At no time does the staff person go on to say, that shirt you are trying to steal, or the one I just saw you put into your purse. By referring to the item as that shirt or those glasses, a shoplifter will know that you are onto him. You are aware of what is going on. If, on the other hand, you make the mistake of approaching them with too general a greeting, like, "Hi, may I help you?" they can simply answer no, and you will have reached a dead end. Next, go to the nearest store phone. Call your manager or store security. While it is fine if the shoplifter sees you call, you should not point or gesture. Because you are not making an apprehension, it is not necessary that you remain in contact with the suspect. You can stay nearby until your manager or security person comes and takes over. No one wants to be arrested, and they know they probably won't be if they don't actually take the product from the store. Chances are now they will remove or put the item away as soon as they can. On the other hand, if your suspicions were wrong and the person you mentioned the matching jerseys to wasn't trying to steal, they might be very interested in them. They will never know you suspected them of shoplifting. For example, let's compare a typical response from someone who wasn't shoplifting to someone who was.
We have the cable that goes with those locks. Would you like to see one?
The locks. Oh, I decided to wait and let my dad come down and pick out which one he wanted himself.
We have the cable that goes with those locks. Would you like to see one?
What locks?
Oh, I thought you were looking at the locks.
Active prevention gives the shoplifter opportunity to reconsider. Now that the shoplifter knows you suspect him, he may return to the dressing room to remove the concealed clothing. Sometimes he will decide to buy the product. Often, these items are discarded in a hurry and left in places where they don't belong. Unfortunately, this makes it easier for someone else to be tempted and even shoplift. Just being aware of how important and easy it is to handle merchandise properly will help us keep things tidy and put in their place. It's this kind of thinking, this kind of awareness that is a large part of shoplifting prevention and part of our personal responsibility.
Sometimes it's hard to understand people who claim to have certain principles and then show total disregard for those same ideals when they think no one is looking.
Unlike shoplifting that accounts for well over half of our total shrinkage problem, employee theft represents an estimated 25% of missing merchandise. Although it's less of a problem in dollars, it is still a significant amount and by far the hardest area to talk about. employee theft ranges from discount abuse to out-and-out stealing.
I guess I didn't think how often I'd be asked by my own friends to use my employee discount, and really I didn't think about the consequences. Before I realized it, things had gotten out of control, so now I simply say no.
While the vast majority of our employees are honest, responsible, and happy to be here, a small number of our coworkers actually steal merchandise. Because we are a co-op, the employee who steals is taking from all of us. It isn't just some unknown company he works for. It's a group the rest of us take seriously and believe in. He is stealing our benefits, discounts, and hours. He's stealing our members' dividends and raising prices. Employee theft is a sensitive issue for all of us. After all, we are talking about members of our own team. When an employee steals, it is just as wrong as shoplifting. What's different is how we feel about it. When it is someone you know and work with, it may seem different, more confusing, or even easier to rationalize. The truth is that employee theft poisons the work environment for all of us. It violates our own sense of fairness. It threatens other team members' possessions, and it has a negative effect on team spirit.
I never intended to steal from REI. I never thought I would be tempted, but one day the situation presented itself. It was so easy. Then I did it again. Pretty soon I couldn't keep track of what I'd stolen, what I'd paid for. Every time a manager came near me, I'd break out in a cold sweat. I started to feel uncomfortable to be with my coworkers. I never anticipated how alienated it made me feel.
People generally steal more than once. You can't kid yourself into thinking that you're doing a coworker a favor by pretending you don't see a $20 theft. The reality is they will be in a lot more trouble once it becomes a $200 or $2,000 problem. And chances are it will. Few people stop to think that when they are caught, they'll not only lose their jobs, they'll be arrested and carry a criminal record for the rest of their lives, just like anyone else who steals. Even talking directly to the employee who's stealing probably won't help. The person who steals has a problem that's bigger than both of you. Sad to say, it's unlikely even a close friend is going to be able to talk him out of it. Even though it may feel like you're betraying a colleague, the best option is to tell your supervisor or manager. Everything you tell him or her, whether it's something you saw, thought you saw, or heard about, will be kept completely confidential. The only direct action you will have caused is that person's behavior will be monitored at work. There is no way you will cause an innocent coworker to get into trouble.
Yeah, well, thanks for letting me know.
No problem.
You know, I know this is a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep an eye on the situation and see what happens.
Okay.
All right? I know you take your job seriously, so you should feel good about wanting to make this a more positive place to work.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Bye, Jeff.
Bye-bye.
Sometimes I guess we could all benefit from paying a little more attention. Some mistakes are just due to thoughtlessness, not maliciousness, but we still have to be responsible for our own actions.
Remember, not all shrinkage is done by suspects, or is even intended. 10% of shrinkage is caused through carelessness, otherwise known as procedural errors. Everyone's job involves inventory, whether it's stocking shelves, making an exchange, or replacing broken parts. If the proper procedures aren't followed, we lose merchandise, time, and money. We can all solve the problem by just being more aware and taking time to ask. Remember to check all boxes thoroughly before throwing them away. Don't give customers socks off the fixtures for trying on shoes and boots. And don't use inventory like rope for store displays without following the proper procedures.
Make sure you keep track of how much you use so we can mark it out in inventory, okay?
It's hard to believe that errors like these can actually affect us, but they do. They all add up. So by just slowing down and reminding yourselves to double-check and follow procedures, you can help cut down on the shrinkage problem.
I mean, if we're not willing to play by the rules, what are we going to teach others?
Shrinkage isn't something we talk about every day. And yet it affects our lives, our work, the prices we pay every day. It's something we wish would just go away on its own, but that's not the case. It doesn't seem fair to customers and staff alike that those of us who do play by the rules have to pay in a variety of ways for those who don't. The concept of taking personal responsibility is an important one. It means committing yourself to making things better. Thanks for being a part of our team.